Welcome to Decker Tech. I'm Aaron Decker, and today is a deck tech on the Great Animal. It's not what it seems. It's not what it seems. Hey, I only get to say that so many times, so I said it again. Haha. And if you haven't seen the Swan Princess, then shame on you. But this deck, we played it less than a dozen times. I mean, probably only, not even 10 times probably. You saw most of the games. The only ones we didn't keep, there was a really slow opponent. There was one where we stomped him really hard, and there's one or two that we lost against the Luca Yorion combo, you know, where they make a wall or some other token, and then they Luca down tick and turn it into an Agent of Treachery. And our deck, guess what, has a lot of big scary creatures and whatnot. So if we were to modify this deck to be competitive, I'd probably put in more main board Planeswalker hate. I mean, we got Questing Beast. That's Planeswalker hate for like the 3-mana Planeswalkers or anything they actually resolve and keep on the board and they need on the board. But the Luca combo, all they need is a token, and then they turn that token in Agent of Treachery the same turn they play Luca. So that to combat that, we would either need some counter spells like negates, which we have in sideboard, but maybe main board a couple or change that a bit. But just some more kind of counter magic. So there's space in the deck for that, but as you've seen throughout this week, a lot of the fun and the joy of the deck is just turning a Grazer into a Gemrazer or a Greathorn, taking that, turning it into a Styrrix. Like, these are all just great things. This Grazer just does so much work for us. And if we can't get the Grazer, we got the Druid. That's another thing we can, you know, mutate onto, and then we're mutating just some good, valuable 3-mana creatures. Basically, is what we turn them into. And then if we can't do that, we got the Kaheeras, the either the companion or otherwise. So, like, just kind of that early pressure of just big, beefy creatures. Like, I feel like this is what Mutate was supposed to be. This is the deck that Mutate is. Like, this is the epitome of Ikoria, is mutating big, powerful creatures. I really love the fact that we're running 2 legendaries. We tried it originally with a couple, the third Apex in colors, the Apex of Wishes, but we ended up just sticking with these two, Nethroi and Brocus. With them, we can turn, and with Auspicious Styrrix, we can turn like legendary creatures and non-legendary creatures, run 2 copies of them. So we have 2 Kaheeras, because sometimes what you do is you just put a Nethroi on top of a Kaheera and get back a Kaheera from the graveyard, and suddenly you have +2 to all your beasts. Like, it's fantastic. Just, you can have 2 Questing Beasts. I turn Questing Beast into another legendary creature, like a Nethroi, and get another Questing Beast from the graveyard, or I turn it into an Auspicious Styrrix, and the Styrrix gets another Questing Beast. Like, it's so cool. Like, these 2 Questing Beasts on the board. Like, what's better than a Questing Beast? 2 of them. What's better than, you know, a Kaheera? 2 of them. Like, I think that's the name of this game, is just, hey, look, I have 2 creatures, but, like, even though they're supposedly the same, they're not, because I mutated them. And so I can call them different names. This one's Bob and this one's Joe. Like, it's really awesome. I don't really have much else to say about the deck. I mean, like I said, if we're going to take it further along, what we'd do is we'd throw some control magic in it, kind of take away some of the fun aspect, and just put a little more consistency against the more controlling decks. We didn't play much against the, like, Lurises of the world, but we have, I think we're plenty fine with Lurises. Like, the aggressive decks, we've got bigger creatures. Like, they're forced to remove all of ours, and just us just sticking one big powerful creature, and suddenly they can't swing in, and then if they're spending their time trying to sacrifice stuff, we're swinging in and just trampling over, or we have Lifelink, or we have Legion's End and Elspeth's Nightmare in sideboard. Like, we have a lot of answer to that deck. And that's partially because I built it that way, because we're seeing a lot of that when I first made the deck, but then as we actually play tested it and recorded the videos, we started seeing the Luca Yorion thing, because that's the top deck right now. And, like, I think we could have tweaked the deck to play a little better against them, but I just don't enjoy. I'd rather these shorter, more just beating in with creatures games, because that's the goal of this deck. And I'm at a babbling point at this point. So if you have any questions about the deck you don't like to see, I mean, we got to run 6 copies of the Grazer. You can't have you can't have more than 4 copies, so that's what the Leafkin Druid is. He's back up to the Grazer, just as an early mutate target. We've got a plethora of these 3-mana plays, so we got 6 copies of our 3-mana play to mutate on. And then our big, powerful We got 6 copies of our Styrrix effect of just bringing in creatures, either from graveyard or otherwise. The Cavalier of Thorns is just a good value creature, kind of filling in that range between 4 and 6. He ramps us. He's a good blocker, and he fills a graveyard for the Nethroi and the Brocuses of the world, because Brocus from the graveyard is nice, and Nethroi pulling from the graveyard is nice. So just all around, it all synergizes. You may have seen this last game. We had some cool, interesting things with Kaheera having Vigilance, and giving all our creatures Vigilance, and then having mutated onto a Leafkin Druid, so we can swing with the creature, get in for damage, and then after combat tap it for mana. Like, that's pretty cool. These hasty creatures are really good. You can see them shine when we do the Styrrix or the Nethroi. Get them into the cheat them into the battlefield and swing in with the now big powerful creature. I think you saw a Hydroid Krasis. We put some nasty big beaters on that. You put an Auspicious Styrrix or a Nethroi on top of that, and suddenly, hey, scary. I love the Nethroi. That's my favorite thing. Nethroi onto a Krasis. Like, that's the thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of just little synergies. A lot of fun with the Mutate. The Great Horns are just value. Cavaliers are just value. Like, we got enough value carrying us, and we got just the combo 1, 2, 3. You've seen the turn 3 Auspicious Styrrix swinging. We never actually had a recording of the Styrrix swinging with a questing beast on turn 3, but it's very possible. I've seen it a couple times. It's pretty fun. So, yeah. If you got any questions about the deck, please comment to this video. I will answer all comments I can. And yeah, we will catch you next week. Peace.